Hi everyone, this is Gail Dudley and I am your book ambassador. I am so excited to share with you today, just over the next 15 or 20 minutes, to share with you what you can do with your manuscript. For some of you, you're looking at this December date of 2017, wondering what can you do with your manuscript, and you've written this, you have poured your life over it, you have given it everything that you have, and you're wondering what now, what is next. There are so many indie publishers out here, and I want to encourage you that you can become that indie publisher immediately. You can do that even as of today. Some of you may have already published your manuscript, but you're wondering, what do I do now? How do I move from seeing my book, the manuscript that went to a book, it's now sitting on the shelf or is on an online bookstore, wondering, how do I get this moving? How do I become visible? How do I get out in front of people? What can I do with this? I have already accessed all of my family and friends. I've already gone to all of my committees and groups and where I have a membership and or where I serve, and you're wondering, what now? Some of you are saying, I have a couple of boxes of books in my basement or in my garage, and I want to see them moving. Even before I publish my next work, I'm here to share with you today that I am that ambassador for your book and I can help you. I have, just a little bit about me, I have over 15 years of consulting experience and over the last 10 years of publishing experience, not just for my books. I have 9 of them, all self-published. I am an indie publisher, but I also publish an international magazine called Ready Publication that can be found in all 50 states and many countries. I have writers all over the world that are writing and publishing into the magazine, and you can too. But even beyond, even before we get there, I really want to take a step back and say, I want to help you with your manuscript. So many of us have so many words to share, and we have written it out. We have already someone who has gone through the book and they have completed the edits. Maybe it has already been copy edited. Maybe it is just ready to go forward and you're not sure what to do. You're wondering, do I go through CreateSpace? Do I go through Author House? Or do I go through lulu.com? Where do I go? How do I do it? What does it look like? And I am here to answer all of those questions for you. Just to give a little bit about my own story, I had this journey of wanting to write books. And I really began with writing training material for workshops for corporations. When I realized what I was producing, I thought to myself, wow, I need to publish this work. And how do I get there? And today in our traditional publishing and with our traditional publishers, it may not be that easy, but as indie publishers, we can do it every day. And I'm here to encourage you that you can do it today, right here, right now. I want to share with you a couple of the clients that I've recently had throughout 2017. I'm so excited that every last single one of them, their books are continuously moving forward. They are selling their books like crazy. They are getting radio interviews. They are getting not only radio interviews, but they're getting invitations to be on the television set. And I realize as I'm looking at how we're moving all the different pieces and parts that you can too. And I know without a doubt that that is the key to moving your book. And that is by becoming more visible, being heard more over the airways and on the television set, as well as doing live videos like I am doing today. So I just want to give you a couple of things of what I can do for you. Think about it. If you're ready to go, let's go. It's time for you to move your book, your manuscript to becoming a published book, and then from that published book, getting on the bookshelves everywhere, and then also increasing your speaking opportunities, being seen and heard on the television set, and being heard on the radio and through podcasts and so many other platforms. So if you just give me a few seconds, I just want to share with you a little bit of how you can get started. The first thing I want to talk about is that as a book ambassador, I coach the author to developing a strategic mapping plan. And let me give you an example of what that looks like. So many people, I know you're going to say, oh no, that's antiquated. I don't want to do a poster board. I just want to do it on my smartphone, or I want to do it on my computer. That's all great. But there is something about being able to visually see something continuously that makes a difference. And if I can say real quick, I can coach you all day long. I can be that ambassador for you all day long, but you have to do the work. You have to do the work. So just to give you an idea, this was my January through March 2017. It's the first one that I grabbed. But I have a subject line, and I talk about what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. And then I have other information. And I know you can't see too much here, but I just wanted to show you this. And what happens, I do this on a quarterly basis. Just mapping out where I'm going with my books. Again, I have 9, plus I have an international magazine. So I map out what I'm going to do. When I sit down with someone who is dealing with their manuscript and or their already published book, I share with them, you have to map out what it is you're going to do. What does it look like? Who are you going to contact? What's the time frame of contacting that individual person or that group of people? For example, I have a young lady who just completed her children's book. It's an amazing children's book. It's called Handpicked, and her name is Michelle Mogan Morris, and she lives in Westerville, Ohio. And she has 2 biological children. Then she adopted 2 children, and she shares in this beautiful illustrated story for children a situation that happened with her daughter, her adopted daughter, who happens to be African American, and Michelle is a Caucasian female. This story, the illustration alone is amazing. So we sat down. She had this book for over 6 years. She had this manuscript for over 6 years, and she was ready to publish this and turn this into a book. We met, we talked, we decided, yes, I was the best person to work with her. She was so excited. I was so excited. We got to work. After our first session, she was ready to put all the pieces together, and within 3 weeks, she had a published book, and within 6 weeks, she was on the television set. She was partnering with organizations. She was out in front. She did everything that I sat down and said, you got to look at this angle, that angle, and the other angle. And from that, she started making contacts. Now she is in the classrooms of school systems throughout Central Ohio. She did everything. This book is taking off so fast. And when you go through the presentation, if you click for the presentation, you will see her testimony there, and you'll see some other things from her, along with images from her television interviews, as well as links to the television interview as well. She took off. I have another young lady by the name of Kelly Stanley. She is a woman who writes some beautiful poetry. She had been writing this poetry for a long time. So we decided, okay, it's time to get this manuscript into the book, onto the shelves, and out immediately. It took us about 30 days to get it all put together. We had the editor edit through everything. We had to be careful that when we were talking about poetry, we didn't want to take away from any meanings or the way the words were being formed. So we had to really take our time through a lot of that. We had a graphic artist who happens to be my daughter, Dominic Dudley, who put her cover together. Her cover is absolutely amazing. I'm sitting here looking for her book, so I would love to share that with you. And maybe I'll find it in a moment to share that with you. If not, I'll make sure it's in the presentation if you decide to click and download the presentation so you can see the entire package. But what happened was we said, okay, we're going to publish this. She said, where all is it going to go? I said, I can get you on every newsstand available, both in the United States and outside the United States. The moment I put everything in the system, we uploaded the completed manuscript. Within 30 minutes, her book was in 19 countries. And she did a phenomenal book signing. She is being called to speak to women based upon what was going on with her book. And her poetry book has a lot to do with being raped at a younger age. And she's now telling that story. And I want to tell you, it's an absolutely amazing story. Don't worry, guys. I want to share a guy as well. I can sit here and give you over 300 people that I've helped publish their books, but we don't have time for all of that, so I want to give you as much as I possibly can. And his name, he's a pastor. He's actually a bishop. His name is Bishop Kenneth Paramore, out of Akron. And he had a book, and that book now is a book that he is teaching from. Everywhere he travels and speak, he is teaching from that book, and that book is taking off. Again, that concept is helping you get that manuscript to a published book, and from a published book flying off the bookshelves and being heard and being seen, and people really embracing that book or those books. I have, again, 9 books. The way that we lead those out and put those out there and how quickly people will begin to buy them, I want to offer that to you, my listeners here today. There's a few more things, and I want to keep this short, but I do. Remember to get the actual presentation. It's a PowerPoint presentation. It will have all this information on it, but it's now time for you to get your manuscript into a published book and then off the shelves. And if you already have a published book and you're wondering, why am I stuck? Why isn't that moving? Why isn't this moving for me? You have exhausted all of your avenues if we're trying to sell it and get it out in front of people. I am here to be your ambassador as well. Again, Michelle, 6 years. And look how quickly, within 6 weeks, it was out. We have Kelly. She had been working on that for several years. Quickly out. We're now working on the next book, and then she and her husband are also doing a book together. Bishop Kenny Paramore, we're working on a screenplay with him right now as well. So the second thing is that I help, as a book ambassador, I help you, the author, put together a storyboard and what that looks like and how we can get that flowing and having all the moving parts. Also, I help you through that self-publishing process so that you become the indie publisher. I'm just here to coach you. It's your work. You will hold the rights. You will publish the work. You will get it out. You will make the contacts. I'm just feeding you all the information and helping you connect all the dots. When you look at it, you can sometimes feel overwhelmed, but I'm here to walk you through that process. Also, we provide you with a professional editor. I have several great professional editors. One is in the Maryland area. Another one that I use quite often is in the Florida area. And then we also have one in the Denver, Colorado area. And we have several others. Social media professionals. We help get it out there. We are working with you, getting everything out there. Your e-newsletter, if needed, and how to build your distribution list. I also share all the resources where it's dealing with your book production and deciding on your style of book, etc. I am very good at being able to look at things and giving you all the different avenues because I want you to have a greater return on an investment. Not too long ago, I met with a woman about her book, and I was going through her book. I won't give the details of the book and or the person's name, but I was going through the book, and I kept having this question like, who is her reader? What is it that she's trying to do? When I sat down one-on-one with her after having the opportunity to read through her book, I said, well, several things jump out. I said, number one, if you're going to use images, which if you use color images, that's very expensive. So I tried to steer her away from there. And I told her about blogging opportunities and what it would look like to blog and how she can lead people from her blog to her book. I identified that. I said, the other thing that I am seeing is, I'm not sure this is the right title for your book. And after we sat and having a conversation for about 45 minutes, a light bulb finally went off. And she said, you're right. I have the wrong title. And she says, I have about 500 books in my garage. And I said, okay, so the thing is, let's move the 500 books first. And then we'll revamp this to make it so that when we relaunch your book, we'll relaunch with a new title, we'll relaunch with a new concept. And I was helping her connect the dots of what it is she was going to do. I was telling her who she needed to contact. I told her who she needed to align herself with. And at first it was a little bit of pushback. But the more I kept showing her all the dots and connecting the dots and broadening what it was she was thinking, again, a light bulb went off. And now those moving pieces and parts are coming together, and more people are learning about the book that she had published for at least 2 years. It was 2016. The end of 2015, the start of 2016, we're at the end of 2017. I met with her in October, and now all of a sudden the book is moving because I helped her connect the dots. I said, here's the connections. Here are the proposals you need to make. Here are the people you need to reach out to. And for this particular person, she was in a membership group, a business membership group. And she says, well, I have to work with the people in the group. Okay, you can do that, but that's going to be very limiting. And I suggest you work with, these are the people that you are membership with. These are the people that you share content with. Yes, absolutely. But you got to look beyond that. So I started identifying all the many places she could have her book. And immediately her book started to sell. These are the ones still in her garage. And we haven't even relaunched the new book. We haven't changed the title. None of that has happened yet. It was a matter of getting these books moving first. And I shared with her, it makes no sense to launch something new when you have 500 books in your garage. Let's start with the 500 books in your garage and let's get this done first. So we have that. Then I also share all kinds of resources with you, the different avenues, the inventory, how you move your inventory, again, the people that you contact with, you connect with. My Rolodex, if you will, is so large, especially now having the magazine as well and making all the contacts that I make. I want to share that with you all. I really want to share that with you all. It will be easy to say, come to Columbus, Ohio, and we'll sit down and do an all-day workshop. Okay, yeah, there's that. But I want this to be customized for you. So there'll be many avenues. Again, when you look at that presentation, you determine what is best for you. But we want to tackle this sooner than later. I help as a book ambassador. I help you and coach you through radio interviews and book reviews. And the importance of having sound book reviews that are found online and having people interact and having people share and having people on a podcast with you and how that really moves your book. We have to make you more visible. We have to get you out there. We need everyone to know about you. So finding the right avenues and the right connections. For example, I'm going to be helping someone work on a publication. I can't reveal the name, as I'm in a non-disclosure statement at the moment, but helping someone with the publication. When I first thought about it, I thought, I know nothing about that arena. But immediately I started thinking, okay, but who knows about this arena? And I started making those phone calls, and all of a sudden, all the pieces, all the connections came together. Now I have a wealth of information for this particular publication so we can move it forward. So when we go into the new year, that publication is already 12 months ahead because I've already put the pieces together and more people are already learning about it. That's how you move these things. And I want to help you move your manuscript and or your already published book. And then the other thing is look at that blog and the website. how we can really work with that blog. Even you may have content already on a blog that we just need to pull out and use where we need it to use, or maybe even develop your manuscript even to a greater piece that we can share with the public. And then helping you build success, which will produce and demand more books. That's what we want, right? So I'm so excited to share with you. Please, if you're interested, make sure you go for the presentation, go through the presentation, and then let's do this. Let's have a 15-minute coaching call to see if I'm a fit for you. So you can ask me questions. We have 15 minutes. It's all free. You can ask me questions. You can tell me some of the things that you have. I will respond to you, and we will go from there. I am Gail Dudley. I am your book ambassador. Please email me. You can email me at Gail at the table with Gail. So Gail, the @ at the table with Gail .com. Again, that's Gail, Gail, the @ and then at the table with Gail.com. You want an easier one? Just email me at info.gaildudley@gmail.com. Again, that's info.gaildudley, and that's GAILDUDLEY@gmail.com. I do hope to hear from you. Look, we're at the end of 2017. Let's get this party started. Let's get your manuscript to become a published book, and your published book off the shelves where it's into the hands of people all over the world. All over the world. And if you already have a published book and you're saying, I have exhausted all arenas, my friends has bought it, my friends' friends have bought it, my family has purchased copies. Now what? What do I do with these boxes of books that are either in my garage or in my basement or all around my house? What can I do with it? Short of giving them away to people, what else can I do with it? I'm here to help you. Again, I am Gail Dudley. I am your book ambassador, and I am so excited to be working with you. There are so many great manuscripts that are still on the shelf somewhere in someone's home. It's time to get those out into published books, and there are so many published books that keep going down the ranking list because no one's purchasing them. It's time for us to move those to the top of the ranking list. You have so much to share with the world. It's time for everyone to hear it. You will keep your rights of your manuscript as an indie publisher. And we'll talk about what's the difference between a self-publisher, an indie publisher, and a traditional publisher, and what I do as a book ambassador to help you. You have a great day, and I hope to hear from you real soon. Be blessed.